Hello there. It's good to see you. I'm doing all right myself. I'm going to go through the day now. So, I woke up at around, I think, 8 o'clock. And when I got up, um, used the restroom, um, I went in the first bathroom, but when I opened, I got a unpleasant surprise. So, I went to the second bathroom. And luckily, I didn't get any surprise there. So, I did what I needed to do. I got out. I went back into my room, went back to sleep, and then when I went back to bed, I stayed in bed all the way up until uh, like 10:30, I think. Yeah. So eventually, when I got up, I walked into the kitchen. I poured. Well, actually, I walked into the den. I turned on the TV. I watched a Digital Foundry direct that was made. It basically covered the new Metro Exodus game or Metro game that just was announced, and basically they were like the team Richard Ledbetter, Oliver McKenzie, and Alex Battaglia were all talking about that game and how they think it looks really good. And the funny thing throughout the entirety of that podcast was that Alex Battaglia was on a treadmill, constantly moving all the time. So he kind of looks like a Doom guy. The If you've ever played, Doom, you see like Doom guy, moving back and forward when you move the character in the game, and they show his face underneath, and it shows his face like bobbing sideways over and over again. That's what it looks like, and it was a pretty funny, unintentional visual gag. So yeah, pretty cool. I think it was because like Alex Battaglia announced that like he got like a bad sciatica or something wrong with his back, and so he needs to be on a standing desk now. And I think I also need to do these exercises like treadmilling is another necessary thing he must do to maintain quality back support, it would appear. So, pretty interesting. Moving along from that, um, they would go on to talk about how Xbox is once again failing, how they're planning on trying to lower the price of Game Pass because Game Pass is $30 right now, and like the reason why it's $30 a month is because they were trying to get like people in, and then once they had them in, they pull the price increase rug under them, and like for that price, you could just buy a few like indie games and like good games, own them forever, and then like you could choose to resell them, or at the very least not have to be constantly subscribed to have access to them and have a big hole in your bank account form each year. So you know, it's a real shame that that like Xbox went all in on Game Pass. I mean, I get what the appeal was at the time, but the appeal was that it was cheap and you got day one access to a lot of great Xbox exclusives. But now it's more picky with what you get access to, and now it's more expensive. You don't even get Call of Duty day one unless you have the $30 highest option. Even then, Call of Duty hasn't really been good in recent years, anyways. From what I was listening to on the podcast, I'm not really a Call of Duty guy. I've never really played many of the games. I think I like tried a little bit of one, but it just wasn't my thing. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to hear. Yeah, and then they were like they're talking about after that they talked about like the new like X3D CPU that was released by AMD. So that rounded the discussion off, and then I was like, okay, done with this. And as I was watching it, I paused. I poured a bowl of granola and oatmeal and poured the last of my grass-fed milk in there, and I ate that with a cup of coffee while watching the video. And yeah, it was pretty good. I remember I greeted my sister, and then what happened after that? Oh yeah, I needed to use the restroom, and then I had like discussions about finances with Google Gemini, and then after that, I was having a conversation with my sister. Then I went into my room, and I decided to have a conversation with the Ash chatbot to better understand like how my mind works, because like I wasn't really doing brain jam for a while, and I'm like, okay, what exactly can I do to make myself find brain jam more appealing? And basically the ultimate answer I got to was, instead of treating it like an obligation, treat it like something to explore, because you have a really explorative mind is what it was saying. And that like if you can like just ask a question and address your brain jam and then see where that question for brain jam leads, you might come out the other end with interesting answers. So yeah, it's pretty interesting and compelling. After that, I made a sandwich. I got Chex Mix and a probiotic nut and dried berry bag for lunch in a bent go box. And yeah, then I got a soda, a zero sugar Dr. Pepper. I then said goodbye to my sister and I drove off, and I love her, and then I drove off to work. And when I arrived, I punched in. I got 2 duties, which were sweeps, and I was told by a manager that I need to get on checking restrooms more regularly. So I made sure to do that today. I knocked on the doors to see if anyone was in there. When I didn't get an answer, I'd check in to make sure if they needed refills on like, toilet seat coverings, or need to throw out the trash in the bin, or you refill the toilet paper, things like that. And yeah, the bathrooms were pretty much well accounted for, and I did a pretty solid job on that, I would say. Yeah, swept the floors, helped customers find what they needed, took some orders out, did some breathing exercises on my break, had some fun interactions with coworkers, showed one of my key carrier managers the AI generated clip of one of the other managers doing a epic dodge and kick on a ninja, and they thought it was hilarious. Had a conversation about the keto diet with one of my other coworkers, coworker friends, and then I punched out for. Oh, before I punched out for lunch, I got the trash done. So when I came back from lunch, I wouldn't have to worry about that. Punched in for lunch, went upstairs, immediately got my sandwich. There was something nice about just having my food and not having to fiddle around and get it ready. I just take it out and there it is, and I dig in. That's a great feeling. And I watched a video from all the Y-Files, the basement, where it was basically like a little podcast where AJ Gentile was talking with a guy who works at CERN, and he was like talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. He likes cooking, and he sees food as like chemistry, and then like he talks about like smashing rocks together to find like antimatter, and how he like thinks like what we operate on with our current understanding of laws of physics could easily be challenged with like what if there's another alien race that operates in completely different laws of physics that are contrarian to our own, and we're just limited with our full understanding and knowledge of things. And like he said that working at CERN was really encouraging because it was people of all different backgrounds and identities all coming together for the common goal of trying to understand the way the universe works, and that was pretty cool to hear. So it was a pretty interesting podcast, all things considered. Although a lot of what I was talking about was just like, whoa, going over my head. It was like lots of advanced discussion going there. After it was done, came back down, punched back in, bagged a lot for customers who came in. It was very friendly and nice. Wanted to create a good, friendly atmosphere. Helped some old couple find some canned beans with refried beans. So that was cool. I brought in fresh bags. I wiped down all the check stands. I brought in cleaners and paper towels. And my co-closer, he brought in all the carts and the signs. He closed the produce blinds. I sweeped the produce, and I also made sure to punch in my sweeps. Then I punched out. I got my bent-go box. I said goodnight to my manager, who was there for the night. And I had a funny long conversation with one of my other coworkers near the end about like we got into like Lurch, how he feels like he's like Lurch from the Addams Family, and now we're like, what if we made like a movie where it was about the song "You Can Ring My Bell," and at the very end of the movie, Lurch just walks in out of nowhere and says, "You rang." So we were doing some silly, dumb stuff like that. But I enjoyed that. And then I punched out, went in my car, drove off, got home. Everyone was kind of in bed except for our family friend when I arrived. The house had a wangy cat pee smell in there that I was not a fan of, so that has to be dealt with. I'm not sure which cat is doing it because I've never seen Call Me or Malcolm pee ever. So I'd have to guess it was the cat that kind of looks like our deceased cat Avery, who we call Imposter Cat, doing it. But I can't say for sure. So we eventually, my family friend was really kind. I noticed there was some pineapple in the fridge. I was asking, is this everyone's? She said, no, it's mine, but you can have some. She asked me to get bag out. She put some pineapple in there, and then she gave me the rest, so that was cool. Then she gave me a Recess Oreo combo cup and some microwavable Idaho potato, mashed potato. That was pretty good. And then she gave me a cup of noodle. And then as I was eating this, I was listening to Steven Spielberg being interviewed at SXSW, I think it was called. I might be wrong on that though. Something with S and X in there. Maybe V, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it was basically him talking about his career in filmmaking, and also the movie he is currently promoting, Disclosure Day, and his intrigue in the subject matter of UFO, UAP, and how he believes that there's something on this planet and we're not alone. I think that's pretty cool, and I always enjoy hearing Spielberg talk about his insights into filmmaking, his love of the craft, how he got inspired to make the films he makes, and the cool stories about how his films came to be. It's just a really cool thing to hear such a master of the craft talking to such an enthusiasm and depth about. I just think that's something real special, especially for someone who's been at this game for a really long time, since like the 70s, and he's still got that fire and passion in all these years. I think that's pretty admirable and really cool. But yeah, I threw out the trash. I took the trash out to the front so it could be picked up in the morning by the trash man. I took my vitamins. I drank a whole lot of water. I brushed my teeth. And then I was like, got into my room, was looking through a bunch of rando videos on my phone before I was like, I better make my update video. So here it is. The time is currently 1:29 a.m. Let's see if I can post this bad boy and get to sleep. So thanks for tuning in. That's pretty much the day, and good night, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.